So we are going to look at the arterial system of the upper limb. So when we'll look at the arteries of the upper limb, we shall begin from our major branch along the dorsal aorta. So along the dorsal aorta, we have that arc from the heart, which gives rise to the brachiocephalic vein, and then we have the left subclavian, and then we have the right common carotid artery and others. But we shall follow the route of brachiocephalic vein, which gives rise to two branches: the right common carotid artery and then the subclavian artery. So the subclavian artery will come and then bypass, that is it will bypass the first rib. This is our first rib, and then when it bypasses there, it will change its name. You have to change its name to become the axillary artery. Then when it becomes the axillary artery, it will move up to when it bypasses our teres major muscle. Our teres major. So that is our teres major. So from teres major, shall continue with our artery. It will come up to where the region known as the cubital fossa. So when it reaches the cubital fossa, this is our cubital fossa, it will have to give rise to other branches, and that is to give rise to other branches. The medial branch, this is the medial branch, and then we have the lateral branch. Then the lateral branch will give rise to another branch there. So this will come down here, and then this one will come down here. So the medial branch will come when it reaches the wrist. Along the wrist, it will form. So this is along the wrist. You can say wrist. It's our boundary there. Yes. So here you have to form what we call the superficial arc, and then this one come to form what we call the deep arch. This will give rise to anterior, to posterior, and then the anterior arteries or branches. So that's what we have, and that is the flow of our arterial system. So let us try to label. When we try to label flow, so this is what we call the aortic arc. So from the aortic arc, we have the rise of this brachiocephalic vein here. Then the brachiocephalic vein from there will give rise to two branches. The upper one, which is the right common carotid artery, and then another branch known as brachial, known as the subclavian artery. So subclavian artery will continue as subclavian, and when it reaches this boundary here, this one, this is called the first rib. The first rib, it changes its name to axillary artery. Then the axillary artery will follow the same course to reach this boundary here. This one is known as the teres major muscle. Teres major muscle is over there. Then after the teres major, this becomes the brachial artery now. Brachial supplying the over there to continuous brachial artery up to when it reaches what we call the cubital fossa. The cubital fossa. So when it reaches the cubital fossa, this one, it gives rise to two branches, medial branch and then the lateral branch. So the medial branch becomes the ulnar artery. The ulnar artery. Then the ulnar artery will continue with its course until this boundary. This is along the wrist. This is along the wrist. So after the wrist, this will form what we call the superficial palmar arch. Palmar arch. So this will continue down there to give rise to metacarpal, digital, and others there. Then the lateral one will continue this side, but we see it branches off over here to give rise to what we call the common interosseous membrane artery there. So the common interosseous membrane give rise to anterior interosseous membrane artery, and then it will give rise to also what we call the posterior interosseous membrane artery over there. So this lateral one will become what we call the radial artery. This very one, it continues down here after the wrist to form what we call the deep palmar arch. So the deep palmar arch will supply the deep muscles down there. So we said this will be our brachial artery, and then this will be our axillary artery, and then this will be our subclavian artery there, which rises from the brachiocephalic artery, sorry, over there. So when we try to follow this course, as you see over here, yes, as you see over here, so we have the heart here. We have the heart. This is our heart. Then the heart, this is where our heart originates from here. So the heart will give rise to what we call this arc. This arc, we call it aortic arc. So our aortic arc gives rise to a branch known as brachiocephalic, this one. Then the brachiocephalic divides to give us right common carotid artery and then subclavian artery. So the subclavian artery will continue to reach this boundary, which is the first rib, bypasses over it to become known as axillary artery. Then the axillary artery follow the same course up to teres major muscle, where it changed its name to become the brachial artery. So brachial artery continues to follow the same course over here until the cubital fossa around this region. That's where I have the cubital fossa. So there it will have to divide into a medial branch known as ulnar artery, and then the lateral branch known as radial artery. But we've seen here that the lateral branch gives rise to common interosseous membrane, which gives rise to anterior and posterior interosseous membrane arteries. When you follow the course of the medial branch after the cubital fossa, we have ulnar artery continuing and beyond, reaching the hand. In the hand to form what we call superficial palmar arch system, and then this lateral one give rise to deep palmar arch, that is in the hand. Then these arches will give rise to what we call metacarpal arteries, dorsal and palmar, and then digital arteries and others. So thank you for watching.